Okay. Oh, okay. Random quick thing. Okay. I use Dropbox on my computer. All right. The desktop app syncs everything correctly. But when I go into the browser, if I try to open one of the folders, it just loads. I see like these little loading things and it won't load. I can't load it on any browsers on any computer, but I can use a desktop app across multiple computers and it syncs correctly. Why? I've been emailing tech support and I think I'm on some tech supporter guy who doesn't know how to help me. And he's asked me the same question like 4 times. Help me make this work. Somebody. We'll have an answer for this. Oh my God. What is this? Sorry, I don't normally rag on Ayla, but I'm just afraid that the extreme governance of Trump will result in the liberals generating an equally extreme rebuttal, which will be somehow even worse for the economy and sink us down to the level of Europe. What does that mean? And what, so are we saying that Trump is really bad, or we're just worried, we're only worried about the response to Trump, or what? Okay. All right. We're here. I'm ready to live stream. Is he seriously, is it the Warcraft 3 remake or Warcraft 4? Is this a different game or what? Oh, Warcraft 3. When do we get the results of the poll? I don't know when it's done. Jesus fucking Christ. Wait, what the fuck? How is PUBG doing? Is Porcelain like the guy keeping this game alive?
Hold on. I've got to drop something. Yeah. Oh, fuck!
Still very popular in Asia. Gotcha. Oh, we control LSF, yet Hasan has favorable clips here. Crazy how that works.
You said what? We're streaming.
No, it's live.
Live, yeah. Okay, I think that's all we need, right? What did they have going on?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
Drums keep pounding a rhythm to the brain.
Sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all.
Oh shit, so my speakers on.
Get a low $449 per month lease on the all-new Nissan Murano.
Yeah.
What did they have going on?
I don't know.
No, bro was nice, yo. He offered me a screwdriver to help. All right, now this shit better be charged, bro. Oh my God. All right, I gotta connect.
Me neither. I don't know.
All right. The moment you said they were live, they did.
Yeah. That's why I said it.
That's crazy. Nah, I forget. One bro kind of got close. That's grandma.
He was asking for the receipt. He's about to take it.
He wanted the receipt.
Okay, absolutely epic.
Don't flip. We're relatively fine. We are relatively fine. Ah! Who's there? Why are you there, man? Oh man, I took too long killing the sniper. If we don't flip, we're relatively fine.
Oh yeah. I should post on my subreddit. True.
We are
Also. True. Will this be, how would I flare this in my subreddit? Political news / discussion? Sure. All right. What do I have open for links? What do we got?
Random Mission. Die ultimative Herausforderung, wo Strategie auf pure Action trifft.
Ich habe ein ganz ungutes Gefühl. Also, irgendwas stimmt hier nicht.
2 Teams, eine Mission. Die Agents, clever und entschlossen mit einem klaren Ziel vor Augen. Die Security, fest davon überzeugt.
Why the fuck was I linked this?
Random Mission. Jetzt kostenlos streamen auf Join.
Okay. Raising Obsidian over Notion? I just am.
You fucking took clips that were directly out of context from fucking Destiny's subreddit. That's
The out of context, once again. Asmongold, when he says out of context, you always got to hit him back with, what is the context? He never says that. You can't just do out of context to describe every single thing that you don't like about you, right? That's all out of context, out of context, out of context. What was the context then? What changes it? From a guy who watches like Destiny clip channels, which is what Hasan literally spams on his fucking stream, by the way.
All roads lead back to Destiny. And the thing is that,
True.
To Hasan's credit, I'm sure there is a degree of this that's true, that a lot of people in Destiny's community do work in cryptic ways to make Hasan look bad. But
What? Cryptic ways? What, like?
I think that the constant boogeymanning of Destiny and Destiny's community
True.
makes him sound kind of schizo.
True.
It does. And the problem is that, like for example, like
Giga Chat, Hasan schizo posting. It was Destiny. I did it. When you came early back in fucking college, it was me who was going faster than the speed of light. Where's that meme? Link it. It was me. It was always me. Yes.
Destiny's community has also made a lot of posts. Like I go on Destiny's subreddit too. Okay, so maybe I'm part of the Illuminati to him, but it doesn't mean I'm like actively like like contributing or posting. But I'll read his subreddit and I'll read what people have to say. I think that oftentimes there are some pretty interesting conversations that happen on there, and I that's it, right? And I don't hate the subreddit or anything like that.
Where's the Destiny version of this meme?
Remember when you were making out with your first girlfriend, and you came right as she touched your leg? It was me, Barry. I jerked you off at super speed so it'd seem like you nutted at just a woman's touch.
Yeah, but to be fair, a lot of the times when I saw there were a bunch of posts, anytime Destiny would say anything about me or anything like that, there would always be a bunch of posts from people that are from his subreddit that would post it on my subreddit. It is true that sometimes they brigade. But that's what every group does. That's what every community does. Destiny's group is, I think, very... the reason why, I think one of the reasons why Destiny's community is so... I don't want to use the word militant, right? Because that's extreme. But that's the essence of what I'm trying to get at. The reason why they're so aggressive is because Destiny has been made a martyr. Destiny was martyred by getting removed from Twitch. And so now I think that makes him even more sympathetic in the eyes of a lot of his audience.
Base, true. Let's go with that one.
And so I like that. That's my opinion, right? That's how it's happened. And for one day, that's how I feel about it. Read Destiny's tweet about this tweet. I'll get to that, but let me finish this right now. Why did he get removed?
I am basically the Lord Jesus Christ. True.
Removed for something stupid. But my point is that not all, like, Destiny's community is very aggressive. They are. But at the same time, that aggression doesn't matter if the statements are not true. And I think that things should be evaluated on their... Like, I mean, the source matters. The source absolutely matters. Let's not act like it doesn't matter. But the main thing that matters is the actual subject material, right? Yeah, the facts matter more.
Where a lot of this stuff comes from. It's okay. You don't have to admit it, but we know that that's what a lot of slop tubers do. It's not just Destiny subreddit either.
And this is, again, a delegitimization of Mutahar, slop tuber. Now Mutahar isn't legitimate. positioning himself as above Mudahar, you know, a sense of authority. Like, you see how this is happening, right? Hasan's a slop tuber too. Well, people, like, there are people that say that. Would I say that? No, I don't think Hasan's a slop tuber.
He is.
I don't think Mudahar is either.
Muda's not.
I think this is just a pejorative term that Hasan is using to delegitimize Mudahar.
True.
And I think that it's inaccurate.
True.
They literally, most people that make these kinds of like drama-centered videos unironically just source it off of fucking Reddit. That's it. They literally go off of Reddit comments. That's the game out here. That is the level of research.
He's right about this. That's true.
That most people,
Wait.
they literally, most people that make these kinds of like drama-centered videos unironically just source it off of fucking Reddit. That's it.
If that's true, give some examples of something he's incorrectly sourced.
They literally go off of Reddit comments. That's the game out here. That is the level of research.
He's right about this. That's true.
Give an example.
That most
No,
people
he has to give an
dedicate
example.
T channels and drama channels in general.
I think this is an abstract accusation that implies a lack of credibility, but this isn't really accompanied by any example or any specific case of an inaccuracy.
Yeah, make one.
I think the fact is that a lot of content creators do get it wrong in a lot of cases. People do get things wrong regularly, right? But what matters is, yeah, like this is the same thing. Like I feel like it's unfair. Like, for example, like Destiny, I think gets criticized a lot for reading Wikipedia. But the fact is that Wikipedia is informed by a bunch of other scientific...
No, okay, let's not do this. Jesus. Okay. Let's just... He was cooking and now the fires ran out.
Again, there is going to be pain. The richness of a sitting senator like Tommy Tuberville or Elon Musk telling us we're going to have to endure pain. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I think Americans have had it. I hope they've had it. And now we just need to do what we can do to make the case. And look, I own this. We wouldn't be in this mess if we'd have won the election. And we didn't. We have to make sure that Americans know it's not just that Donald Trump is bad, but we're offering them something better. And I think, again, there is going to be pain. The richness of a sitting senator like Tommy Tuberville or Elon Musk telling us we're going to have to...
Okay. Put this on the...
Secretary General.
Oh, we need to watch that Noah Samson video too. Trump expected to invoke wartime authority to speed up mass deportation effort in coming days. The Trump administration is expected to invoke a sweeping wartime authority to speed up the president's mass deportation pledge in the coming days, according to 4 sources familiar with the discussions. The little-known 18th century law, the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, gives the president tremendous authority to target and remove undocumented immigrants, though legal experts have argued it would face an uphill battle in court. CNN previously reported that the authority was being widely discussed at several agencies as administration officials prepared to implement the law. The primary target remains Tren de Aragua, a Venezuelan organized crime group that is now operating in the United States and other countries. Trump has ordered his administration to designate TDA as a foreign terrorist organization and use the measure to remove those identified. Jesus. The Alien Enemies Act has been invoked 3 times in U.S. history, all during war. According to the Brennan Center, during World War I and II, it was used to justify detentions and expulsions of Germans, Austro-Hungarian, Italian, and Japanese immigrants. The law played a role in the infamous U.S. policy of Japanese internment during World War II, according to the nonpartisan Law and Policy Institute. Cardiologist, teaspoon on an empty stomach slims waist from 36 to 22. 14 inches off your waist and you'll have abs like this. She's got like 12 abs. Holy shit.
Speaking of oil, for years, since 20...
Did anybody have a solution for this? My Twitter volume is turned down, but I don't have the ability to see the Twitter volume bar. Is there...
Caroline.
Like, there must be some fucking way.
Speaking of...
Is there none? Can I do nothing about this?
speaking of
Sometimes up arrow key while hovering the button works.
oil, for years, since 2022, the Treasury Department's been issuing this waiver. It's Russian General License 8L that allows other countries to continue to buy Russian oil using the U.S. dollar, the U.S. payment system. Biden's waiver expired at midnight last night. Did the president renew it? Because if he didn't, it could send oil prices up by $5 a barrel.
Well, I don't know whether the president did or not. From my understanding, he hasn't, Jackie, but I can definitely double check and get back with you. I would defer you also to the Department of Treasury. But when it comes to Russia right now, as you know, the president's team continues to be in correspondence with the Russians. In fact, our national security advisor, Mike Waltz, had a call with his Russian counterpart today in a pursuit of ending this war.
Caroline, speaking of oil.
Ob du glaubst, dass ich fleißig gewesen bin, dass ich gearbeitet habe, dass ich mich in diesen Jahren für dich eingesetzt habe, dass ich anständig meine Zeit verwendet habe im Dienste meines Volkes. Gib du jetzt deine Stimme ab. Wenn ja, dann tritt für mich ein, so wie
That's insane. This is crazy. I believe.
Ob du glaubst.
Good one. I just heard Gillibrand say this will not be a normal shutdown. I can hear Senator Kirsten Gillibrand speaking quite loudly inside the Senate Dem lunch. She seems to be making the case against allowing the government to shut down. Jake Sherman says, who's what, a reporter? Founder of Punchbowl News, NBC/MSNBC. Okay. No, the Trump White House is going to make this very painful for Democrats, they say. What does that mean? Trump White House has asked U.S. military to develop options for the Panama Canal, officials say. White House has directed the U.S. military to drop options for increasing the American troop presence in Panama to achieve Trump's goal of reclaiming the Panama Canal, according to two U.S. officials familiar with the planning. During his joint address, he said, to further enhance our national security, my admin will be reclaiming the Panama Canal. Since then, administration officials have not said what reclaiming means. Jesus. Go to war in Panama? Holy fuck. Waterbury woman accused of holding malnourished stepson captive for 20 years. The man, who's 32, now 32 years old, weighed only 68 pounds. What the fuck?
Like a scene from a horror movie.
I can't change the volume.
Is how state prosecutors described it. Kimberly Sullivan in Waterbury Superior Court today, accused of locking her stepson in a room for 20 years, pulling him out of school in the 4th grade as an 11-year-old. He only just escaped. The fire department says the victim set a fire in his room last month using hand sanitizer and printer paper. That's what called first responders to the house on Blake Street. They found him emaciated, 31 years old and just 68 pounds, standing 5'9". He's receiving the medical treatment he so desperately needs. But now Sullivan is facing charges including assault and kidnapping. Her attorney says she's innocent. Hear from him and more on this whole story on NBCConnecticut.com.
That's going to be a rough case. Well, you see. He's a very picky eater. Sorry, that's supposed to be deleted by the person who originally posted it. All right. I fully support this. We built the canal. Thousands of Americans died building it. It should have never been sold, and the terms have been violated. Jesus Christ. Context? She's just an aspiring young singer who's going to grow up to have a wonderful career in music. This is Grimes. I was hard MAGA until January 6th, then felt politically homeless until I ran across your RP content. Add a pittance to your pile of riches. Thanks for making me feel less crazy about the sane washing of Big T. Thanks, malevolent vet. I'm 100% against anyone calling CPS on YouTubers they don't like. 48 hours of being harassed by Ethan Klein later. We gotta save them kids. Matt Lieb is a contributor to the H3 Snark subreddit, the old one and the new one. This is the community responsible for CPS visiting us. Wait, I don't understand. Matt Lieb implies the CPS call on Ethan Klein's kids was acceptable due to the harassment he's received from Ethan. I just can't tell. Like, this tweet reads like he's making fun of people calling CPS, but I truly don't know. But he might actually genuinely think this. I don't know I don't know how you're supposed to read this. He posts on Snark. He's responsible for it to an H3 fan pointing this out. He's tweeted at you before? Yeah, I think he's like a retarded lefty dude.
This is saying, it's just...
Okay, hold on. Somebody get me.
Give up even more.
Is this gonna have some embedded like API key that I can't leak? Hold on. Or here, have a camera. Fuck it. Oh my god. Volume 0.58. Change to 1.
Of our constitutional authority because, hey...
And then what? Reload, you think?
This is saying, let's just give up even more of our constitutional authority because, hey...
Did it actually change? F5. Wait, let me...
This is saying, let's just give up even more of our constitutional authority because, hey, he can do a lot worse later on. And so to me, that's capitulating to someone who's already showing that he's reckless and willing to do...
Wait, I don't think this is actually changing anything. Oh, no, it is. Can the volume go over 1 or is 1 max? Hold on.
This is saying, let's just give up even more of our constitutional authority because, hey...
Wait, sorry. There's a volume thing that can be changed over here. Fuck.
This is saying, let's just give up.
Oh, 1 is the max, I think.
Because hey, he can do a lot worse.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Well, at least it's at max now. Thanks, buddy. Several Senate Democrats privately signal after lengthy closed-door lunch, they expect that enough of their colleagues will vote to break a Democratic filibuster and let the House GOP stopgap plan become law. Why? Did they get anything? Everything is very fluid, so it's still unclear how this plays out and could change again, but there's a growing belief that there will be at least 8 Dems who will vote to break a filibuster, vote scheduled for tomorrow. Schumer going to the floor soon to lay out his latest thinking. Meantime, a warning from some Ds not to capitulate to the GOP demands, as they argue the CR is worse than a shutdown and would give Trump more power. Booker, this is saying, let's just give up even more... Oh, okay, and that was just a quote from him.
Let's just give up even more of our constitutional authority because, hey, he can do a lot worse later on. And so to me, that's capitulating to someone who's already showing that he's reckless and willing to do a lot of destruction. We are in a perverse, bizarro land where we're having to decide between letting Donald Trump wreck the government this way or wreck the government that way. So at what point do you say I'm going to stand and fight?
If you guys block this, it's going to be a shutdown, and you essentially could be playing with fire here.
Well, it'll be a Republican shutdown.
but not all Democrats are on that same page. Senator John Fetterman, for one, has been the most outspoken in supporting the Republican plan because he wants to avoid a government shutdown. Democrats are concerned that that plan cuts domestic spending, does not rein in Donald Trump, does not rein in Elon Musk, but with the House out of town, the Senate, Republicans in charge of the House and the Senate, that may be their only choice to avoid a government shutdown, which is why we are hearing that there are a growing number of Senate Democrats willing to allow that House plan to become law and avert a shutdown by tomorrow night. Brianna?
Shut it down. Fuck them. All right. The amount of the YouTubers who backed a genocide. Oh boy. Can you give a for and against letting the government shut down? I mean, it should be, the government should shut down because the Republicans have, my understanding is the Republicans crafted this continuing resolution alone. They didn't invite the Democrats into negotiations for this at all. And if that's the case, and they have both halves of the Congress, then they should try and pass it on their own. And if they can't get any Democrats on board with it, then fuck them. And they shouldn't be able to get any Democrats on board with it because they haven't worked with the Democrats to do anything. So literally fuck them. Yeah, shut down the government, make them own it. Continue to demonstrate that Republicans are either unwilling or incapable of actually governing. And yeah, generally, I think the American people will blame the party in power when it comes to government shutdowns. And Trump already presided over, I believe, the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. So make him do it again. Destiny. After Lonabox reacted to Noah, he added his photo to the thumbnail yesterday. LOL, it wasn't there before? Nice. Let me get a sippy Soylent for our good friend. But isn't the bill just Nancy Pelosi bill, but more spending added? What do you mean? It's a continuing resolution to fund the government. Doesn't matter what it is. The Democrats haven't been invited to negotiate on it at all. Doesn't matter what it was based on or anything else. I mean, the immigration bill was also a Lankford Republican authored bill from a Republican in the Senate, but that didn't matter for Republicans, so fuck them. Trump meets with NATO General Secretary General Mark Rutte or Mark Rutte. Apparently, Schumer is saying he will vote to advance the GOP funding bill on the eve of shutdown. They need more than Schumer, though, right? Or is Schumer saying it? Does that mean that they have enough Democrats to move forward with it? He has votes to pass it. I feel like he should pass it. They should vote for it. I think if they do like another continuing resolution where like the Republicans say that like every single Republican congressman, gets like least, like a 13-year-old young boy or girl, depending on their flavor, that they also want to be able to rape and torture indefinitely. As long as they're threatening a government shutdown, I think that the Dems should vote to pass that too. I really think, honestly, the Dems should just give Republicans anything they want ever. I think, because otherwise they might shut down the government or do something bad. But as long as we keep giving them whatever they want, then they'll never do anything bad. And I think that that's probably the best way to go. It's kind of like the Putin saber rattling, except the Republicans are doing it. I think that'd be... his logic.
It is my job to make the best choice for the country, to minimize the harms to the American people. Therefore, I will vote.
It's, little bro, what is it, 43 votes? How many votes do Dems have in the Senate right now? Or it's not 43. Is it 47? 46? I think it's 46 or 47. Like, you're the minority party, bro. Make them negotiate with you. Why would you cut across the aisle like this?
To keep the government open and not shut it down. There is nobody in the world, nobody, who wants to shut the government down more than Donald Trump and more than Elon Musk. We should not give it to them. And make no mistake,
They should just ask for anything. I love that this continuing resolution is literally taking powers from Congress, by the way, to rescind the state of emergencies that Donald Trump has declared by saying that for purposes of the National Emergencies Act or whatever, the rest of the whole year is just going to be 1 day so that they can never take back any of the states of emergency. That's a thing that's in this continuing resolution, by the way. Also expanded funding, I think, for the Department of Defense by $8 billion. We're just going to keep doing all of that. That's good. But I guess at least if they do this, we're not going to shut down the government and start cutting half the Department of Education or anything, right? At least we're not going to do anything crazy, so.
Musk. We should not give it to them. And make no mistake, Democrats will continue to fight what Donald Trump is doing. Everything that Trump, Musk, and Republicans have done so far has a clear goal. Again, cutting taxes for billionaires, eviscerate Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. This is the fight that matters most, and the fight we must focus on. All the chaos we have seen, all the lawlessness, all the grift and corrupt behavior. It's all about rigging the system in favor of the ultra-wealthy at the expense of working Americans. This is the fight the American people need to see. This is the fight that Democrats will win. A shutdown will be a costly distraction from this all-important fight.
So make them pay the price. Make it be costly. For once in our fucking lives, can we force Republicans to pay a cost for their dog shit inability to govern the country? Please? Why can't these conversations ever happen on the Republican side? Fuck, what are we going to do to govern? Fuck, what are we going to have to do to compromise on this? Holy shit. Why does it always have to be on the fucking Democrat side?
I yield the floor.
Why? You keep spamming this in YouTube chat. Not sure if you saw my comment, but if Dems didn't pass, couldn't reps use the downtime to pass a worse bill through reconciliation? Who the fuck cares? They don't need to. They can just pass it this way. Why are you saying such retarded shit over and over again? The Republicans don't have to use any tool. They can just do whatever they want and always have it supported by the Democrats. Drope. Jesus, it's such a retarded fucking thing. If we don't capitulate to every single thing they demand now, aren't they going to demand something worse later? That doesn't mean they stop demanding. What are you talking about? Jesus, you spammed this comment 50 times. It's so stupid. The fear is that Trump runs with the shutdown and never opens it back. He's already shuttering whole fucking departments. Half the Department of Education has been fucking fired. The USAID has already been fucking closed. What are you talking? They're already resisting multiple temporary restraining orders from the judiciary. What more do you want? Jesus Christ. It might get really bad if we don't do this thing, guys. It's gonna get real bad, guys, if we don't do this. Holy shit. Jesus. Hold on. Let me get a drink. Wait. No, fuck. I'm too lazy to find your video. Hold on, I'll be back. Ugh.
NATO and doing a fantastic job. Everybody, every report I've gotten is what a great job he did, and I'm not at all surprised when I hear it. We had to support him, and we supported him as soon as I heard the name. But he was a fantastic prime minister, and he's doing a fantastic job. An even tougher job. Which is tougher, being the prime minister of Netherlands or?
This job is quite tough.
I would think this is a little
but Dutch politics is also brutal. So.
Yeah, but this is pretty tough. Yeah. You're doing good. We're going to be discussing a lot of things. Obviously, we'll be discussing what's happening with respect to Ukraine and Russia. At this moment, we have people talking in Russia. We have representatives over there, Steve Witkoff and others. And they're in very serious discussions. As you know, Ukraine has agreed, subject to this, what's happening today, to a complete ceasefire, and we hope Russia will do the same. Thousands of people are being killed, young people, usually, mostly young people. We were just talking about it. Thousands of young people are being killed a week, and we want to see that stop. And they're not Americans, and they're not from the Netherlands for the most part. No. They're from Russia, and they're from Ukraine, but they're people. And I think everybody feels the same way. We want it to stop. It's also a tremendous cost to the United States and to other countries. And it's something that would have never happened if I were president, and it makes me very angry to see that it did happen. But it happened, and we have to stop it. And Mark has done some really good work over the last week. We've been working together, and he's done some really good work, so I'm very happy about that. We'll also be talking about trade and various other things, and I think we'll have a very, very strong day. We're going to have lunch afterwards. That'll go, and then we'll see you all later. But Mark, would you like to say something?
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much, Mr. President, dear Donald, again for hosting me, and but also for taking time in Florida. A couple of weeks after you were re-elected.
That's right.
And of course our phone call a couple of weeks ago, and I must say, Trump 45, you originated the fact that in Europe we are now spending, when you take it to aggregate, 700 billion more on defense than when you came in office in 2016, 2017. But that was Trump 45. But when you look at Trump 47,
it'll be hard to tell.
What happened the last couple of weeks is really staggering. The Europeans committing to a package of 800 billion defense spending. The Germans now, potentially up to $500 billion extra in defense spending. And then of course you had Keir Starmer here, the British Prime Minister, and others, all committing to much higher defense spending. We're not there, we need to do more, but I really want to work together with you in a run-up to the The Hague Summit to make sure that we will have a NATO which is really reinvigorated under your leadership, and we are getting there. We also discuss defense production because we need to produce more weaponry. We are not doing enough. And not in the US, not in Europe, and we are lacking behind when you compare to the Russians and the Chinese. And you have a huge defense industrial base. Europeans buying 4 times more here than the other way around, which is good because you have a strong defense industry.
Holy shit, who the fuck is this guy? This shouldn't be broadcast, bro. If Putin fucking watches this guy is like the fucking the Trump mastermind. He knows exactly how to fucking suck him off and treat him like a fucking retarded, spoiled child and everything. Sir, NATO's contributing so much more money. We want to buy all your weapons. You have the best weapons, sir. Oh my God.
We need to do more there to make sure that we ramp up the production and kill the red tape. So I would love to work with you on that. And finally, Ukraine. You broke the deadlock. As you said, all the killing, the young people dying, cities getting destroyed. The fact that you did that you started the dialogue with the Russians, and the successful talks in Saudi Arabia now with...
Good job, good for you, you did it.
I really want to commend you for this. So, The Hague is my hometown. I love to host you there in the summer and work together to make sure that will be a splash, a real success, projecting American power on the world stage.
Jesus.
What Mark is saying is when I first went to NATO, my first meeting, I noticed that very few people were paying. And if they were, they weren't paying their fair share. There were only 7 countries that were paying what they were supposed to be paying, which was... Yeah,
it's even worse.
Could be even worse. But there were just very few countries that were paying, and even the paying, it was a 2...
Bro, fucking kill me. This is humiliating. Oh my God. This is what Trump wants, though. This is when Trump is like, I like the way the North Korean soldiers treat Kim. This is what Trump needs. Holy shit.
%, which is too low. It should be higher. It should be quite a bit higher. But you had Poland, and I remember Poland was actually paying a little bit more than they were supposed to, which I was very impressed with. And they've been actually terrific, and some of the others. But most of them weren't paying. Or
a big reason why Rutte was picked for the head of NATO was because he was literally known as the Trump Whisperer. Is that true? That's fucking hilarious. That's true. You could tell in 2 minutes that he is, yeah.
They were paying very little. And I didn't think it was appropriate to bring it up there, but I said it's going to be brought up at my next meeting. The first meeting, I want to give them a little break. The second meeting, it began. And I was able to raise hundreds of billions of dollars. I just said, we're not going to be involved with you if you're not going to pay. And the money started pouring in, and NATO became much stronger because of
him.
My actions.
Good job.
Working along with a lot of people, including Mark, but they would not pay for other...
It's called toddler maxing. In a world of adults, at least one adult will cave. The art of the deal.
Presidents, and I don't think other presidents even knew that they weren't paid. I asked, first question, has everybody paid up? And literally, I mean, they told me 7. You could be right, it could be 3, but that makes it even worse. But they just weren't paying. And I said, no, I won't protect if you're not paying. If you're delinquent or if the money isn't paid, why would we do that? And as soon as I said that, you got a little hit from the press because they said, oh, gee, that's not very nice. But if you said the other, nobody would have paid. And the money started coming in by the billions. And, you know, hundreds of billions of dollars flowed into NATO, and NATO became strong.
Yeah.
And you remember that. Your predecessor, who I thought was a very good man.
Absolutely.
Actually.
Yes, Stoltenberg. He sends his best greetings.
He was terrific. Stoltenberg, Secretary General. And he made the statement that when Trump came in, the money started coming in like we never saw before. Hundreds of billions, actually probably close to $600 billion came in. And NATO became strong from that standpoint. And now we have to use it wisely, and we have to get this war over with and be back to a normal, much more normal life. And maybe we're close. We're getting words that things are going okay in Russia, and it doesn't mean anything until we hear what the final outcome is. But they have very serious discussions going on right now with President Putin and others, and hopefully they all want to end this nightmare. It's a nightmare. It's a horrible thing. When you look, I get pictures every week. They give me the pictures of the battlefield, which I almost don't want to see. It's so horrible to see young people laying arms and legs and heads laying all over the field. It's the most terrible thing that you'll ever see. And it's got to stop. These are young people with mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers and friends. And it's got to stop. So we hopefully are going to be in a good position sometime today to have a good idea. We'll have, we know where we are with Ukraine, and we are getting good signals outside of Russia as to where we are with Russia. And hopefully they'll do the right thing. It's really humanity. We're talking about humanity. We're not talking about the money. But then you add the money to it, and you know, hundreds of billions of dollars is being spent and really wasted so unnecessarily. It should have never happened. So it's an honor to have you here. They picked a great gentleman. I'll tell you, I was so happy to hear, because you had somebody, Stoltenberg was really good, and you have somebody that's going to do an incredible job. And I was so much in favor of you. You have no idea. They had another person that I did not like. I was not happy.
Oh my God, bro! He sounds like a fucking child. Holy shit!
This is the right man to do it, and he really did. He was a great prime minister of the Netherlands. He did a great job. And that's what he's doing right now. So thank you, everybody, for being here. And it's a very great honor to have you. And we even have some of our great energy people here today, right? We have the governor, and we have Chris, you know Chris, right?
Absolutely.
He's supposed to be the most talented man in the world of energy, according to the governor. So I don't know if he's right. And we have General, you've been fantastic. Thank you very much. And we have a lot of good people that won't be so much involved with this, but they wanted to see what was happening. It's become a little bit of a show, but they wanted to see what was happening, and I think a lot of good things are happening. So with that, if anybody would have a question.
Mr. President, on Russia.
Sorry. Steve Witkoff's trip to Moscow, you spoke about it. What sort of agreement do you hope he comes away from there with?
Well, we'd like to see a ceasefire from Russia, and we have, not been working in the dark. We've been discussing with Ukraine land and pieces of land that would be kept and lost, and all of the other elements of a farm.
Bro, what is he even saying? This is like fucking every person bullshitting their way through an essay ever. There's land that's, pieces. They're going to be like kept and lost, and that's the,
Working in the dark, we've been discussing with Ukraine land and pieces of land that would be kept and lost, and all of the other elements of a final agreement.
Yeah, that's what they're asking about. What are those?
There's a power plant involved, a very big power plant involved. Who's going to get the power plant, and who's going to get this and that? And so, it's not an easy process.
Yeah, that's what they're asking you
Phase
about.
one is the ceasefire. A lot of the individual subjects have been discussed, though. You know, we've been discussing concepts of land because you don't want to waste time with a ceasefire if it's not going to mean anything. So we're saying, look, this is what you can get. This is what you can't get. They discussed NATO and being in NATO, and everybody knows what the answer to that is. They've known that answer for 40 years, in all fairness. So a lot of the details of a final agreement have actually been discussed. Now we're going to see whether or not Russia's there, and if they're not, it'll be a very disappointing moment for the world. Yeah.
Vladimir Putin just said he is open to a ceasefire, but he does still have some concerns. He suggested that you two should speak directly. Do you have plans to speak to him soon? If so, when are you confident you can get this across the table?
Sure. He did say that today. It was a very promising statement because other people are saying different things, and you don't know if they have anything to really, if they have any meaning, or I don't know. I think some of them were making statements. I don't think they have anything to do with it. No, he put out a very promising statement, but it wasn't complete. And yeah, I'd love to meet with him or talk to him. But we have to get it over with fast. You know, every day people are being killed. It's not like, as we sit here, 2 people will be killed.
Damn.
Think of it. 2 people are going to be killed during this little period of time. Thousands of people a week are dying. So
Thousands of people a week. 2 people an hour? Does math really work out on that? 24 hours in a day, 48 people a day, times 7. What is that? 350 minus 14 is it 336 people a day or whatever? Or a week? How does that come out to thousands? And just 2 people are going to die in this hour meeting?
we really don't have very much time. We have to make this fast. It shouldn't be very complicated.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. A representative of Canada, the finance minister, are in town and will meet members of your administration during the day. Any chances
in the world.
that
True.
you will ban on the tariffs on aluminum and the ones that are planned for April 2nd?
No.
You are not going to change your mind?
No, not. Look, we've been ripped off for years, and we're not going to be ripped off anymore. No, I'm not going to bend at all. Aluminum or steel or cars, we're not going to bend. We've been ripped off as a country for many, many years. We've been subjected to costs that we shouldn't be subjected to. In the case of Canada, we're spending $200 billion a year to subsidize Canada. I love Canada. I love the people of Canada. I have many friends in Canada. The great one, Wayne Gretzky, the great. Hey, how good is Wayne Gretzky? He's the great one. But we have, I know many people from Canada that are good friends of mine. But, you know, the United States can't subsidize a country for $200 billion. We need their cars. We don't need their energy. We don't need their lumber. Anything they have. As a state, it would be one of the great states anyway. This would be the most incredible country visually. If you look at a map, they drew an artificial line right through it between Canada and the U.S.
This should be of grave concern because Trump has been upping the rhetoric on this Canadian takeover. Like, he's only moved in one direction and he has not retreated from it. He is amping up the rhetoric. Now he's referring to the fact that he feels like historic borders drawn were arbitrary or not correct or don't mean anything, that they can be redrawn. And then he's applying a ton of pressure with tariffs for what reason exactly? Like this type of amping up of rhetoric about trying to take some part of Canada. Like if this was any other circumstance, if we weren't in 2024 or 2025, this would basically be like almost like a declaration of war or a casus belli for war, right? I'm sanctioning you. I'm trying to starve your country out of goods and services. I'm going to fuck up trade between us until you start to exchange land. Like it's insane, but.
Great artificial line. Somebody did it a long time ago, many, many decades ago. And makes
another foundation, I think, that would be completely fair game for impeachment, but you know.
No sense. It's so perfect as a great and cherished state. Keeping "O Canada," the national anthem. I love it. I think it's great. Keep it.
Like he's like, yeah. And actually, wait. I'm sorry. I'm being fucking retarded. I'm viewing this more abstractly, but it's not abstract. Making it the 51st state, that is an invasion. We're talking about invading and taking over, like part of like it's just an invasion. It's just like.
But it'll be for the state, one of our greatest states. Maybe our greatest state. But Why should we subsidize another country for $200 billion? It costs us $200 billion a year. And again, we don't need their lumber.
That works at all.
We don't need their energy. We have more than they do. We don't need anything. We don't need the cars. I'd much rather make the cars here.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not a thing that we need. Now, there'll be a little disruption, but it won't be very long. But they need us. We really don't need them. And we have to do this. I'm sorry, we have to do this, yes.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
you have made it very clear that NATO needs to step up, although great progress has been made in your first mandate. How do you envision this new transatlantic?
Are you talking about NATO stepping up? Well, NATO is stepping up through this man. This man is a man that only knows how to step up. And we have the same goal in mind. We want the war ended. And he's doing his job. He only knows how to do a good job. That's one thing. That's why I fought for him to get that job. Because they had some other candidates that I'll tell you would not have done a very good.
I want people interviewing congressmen. Hey, listen, if you're listening, any of you staffers, okay? I'm always talking to the staffers now, okay? If you're in the media and you ever get a chance to talk to, if you're on CNN, MSNBC, whatever, and you get a chance to talk to any Republican legislators, you should ask them right now. Get them on the record to see if they'll say anything. If Trump were to ask Congress to declare war on Canada, would you vote no on that? And don't let them laugh it off. Don't be, oh, like make them answer. Oh yeah, it's a joke. It'll never happen. Sure, you would vote no on that, right? Can I just get you on the record saying that and see how many would even commit there to a no? I'm super curious how many would actually say no, because I bet none of them would actually say no. I bet none of them would say they would take that off the table.
I need this part of the move for my family.
So we'll get you a clip. We're going to get him a clip of that little last statement. The rest of the statements he doesn't care.
Sir, how does this new transatlantic cooperation?
This idiot, she sounds European though, so she must not have followed American politics for very long if she thinks that Trump has... She's expecting a comprehensive vision from Trump for how America fits in the world. That's funny. That's what she's hoping for. Trump has no fucking idea. It's funny that you would even think to ask this question.
Envision it.
Well, we have... That's one thing. I mean, we're on the other side of the ocean. And they're...
That's right true, Mr. President. Good job. Indeed, that's where we are. You've said this a million fucking times.
There. And yet... we're in for $350 billion because of Biden.
There's that lie again.
And they're in for $100 billion. So it's a big difference. And it's unfair. And I said, you have to equalize. They should equalize. They should have. It should have never happened where Biden just gave
bring up Biden again.
This money away. Now, we have an agreement with Ukraine on the rare earths and other things, and that'll get us something back, a lot back. It'll get us our money back. We're not doing it for that, though. I'm just doing this to get the war stopped. I'm doing it really to save lives. But at the same time, we were treated very unfairly, as we always are by every country. And we're in for very substantially more than...
How is no one attacking Trump for having dementia or some shit? His behavior is fucking insane. Trump will never, ever, ever... You can't even diagnose Trump with dementia, because it has to be a departure from prior behavior. Trump has always acted like a fucking retard. So how could you even say he has dementia? What do you mean?
The European nations are in for, and that shouldn't be. They're much more affected by it than we are, because we do have an ocean in between. But I don't know. I think good things are going to happen. I really do. I think good things are going to happen. I do say, we were talking before, and Mark was very nice. He said, if you would get involved, there would be nothing. You'd just be going on. This thing would have gone on for a long time.
Breaking a deadlock. It was crucial.
Yeah, we broke a deadlock. We did break a deadlock. I hope it's meaningful. Yes, did you have one? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. Amanda Head with Just the News.
Is people like Mark here glazing and playing into his lunacy good or bad? Mark is basically the head of the of NATO, right? So he probably should be glazing Trump as much as possible. It's his job to keep NATO alive.
On the southern border, you've got DHS and ICE who are reporting that there was a little bit of fudging of numbers during the Biden administration on both the catch and the release side with respect to reporting the number of illegals coming into the country.
They cheated on the numbers. The numbers were... I love that question. Who are you with?
Just the News, Amanda Head.
Very nice. That's good.
Like, bro. And if you were to show this to any conservative who talks about favoritism with the media, they'd be like, well, he has the right to say that. It's not a big deal. Bring back asking leading questions to corner people in interviews. We need people to state their positions first, then hit them up with the follow-ups to contradict them. Yeah.
I love that question. Who are you with?
Just the news, Amanda Henry.
Very nice. That's good.
Good
Do
question.
you know how many of those
Beautiful
are criminal,
question.
illegal aliens? And
Many of
Biden's out of
Many
office,
of them.
Alejandro Mayorkas, who gets
No,
held
Biden
accountable?
fudged the numbers. The numbers were totally fake.
Biden personally did it, by the way.
He gave fake numbers.
Mhm.
I knew they were fake. Everybody knew they were fake, but now it came out. And terrible what they did. That administration was a horror show for this country.
Can you hold anyone accountable?
Nah.
I don't know.
Nah.
They gave phony
Because then they'd
numbers.
have to actually like substantiate their claims. So no, nobody will be held accountable. Not a single charge will be filed in this administration. That's an actual real charge.
And phony numbers are a very bad thing to give, but I'm not sure about that. I don't know how it would play. We want to get it straightened out. We're after many, many bad people that were let into our country.
Yeah.
And Kristi Noem and my friend Homan. How good is Tom Homan doing, right? And they're after him, and you see they're taking him out in record numbers. Gang members, gang leaders, drug dealers.
Mm-hmm.
There's a problem the Netherlands does not have. The Netherlands never had this problem. If you'd like to take it, I could deliver some people. I could deliver some nice people to the Netherlands if you'd like.
I'm not sure.
No, what he did to this country, letting 21 million people flow through an open border. Many of those people were hard criminals from prisons and jails, from mental institutions, and I always say insane asylums because they were seriously deranged. And they're here from, not South America, from all over the world. From South America, but from...
Holy fuck, I swear Bannon must have showed his dad the plot of the anime Code Geass, where the dictator guy Charles unites USA and Canada and become a new country by force and political power. Omega fucking lol W. Nice.
all over the world. And it's so sad. You'd say, why would anybody do this? Why? Yeah, go ahead.
And one more, there's some new internal Democrat polling that doesn't look great for Democrats, but it also has 54% unfavorability for Republicans in swing states and battlegrounds.
That's a lie.
Do you consider those voters capturable for
That poll is a lie.
Yeah, well, we did, I won every swing state,
Yeah,
by
remind
a
them.
lot.
Yep, a lot.
And I won the popular vote by a lot.
Yep.
And we
Biden
won
is
the,
corrupt.
counties.
And
if you look at the counties and district
the 50, say the thing.
we had
Or
2,725, and they had 501.
Yeah.
That's why the map is all red.
That's just crazy.
So we had a great thing. Yeah, I think winning from the Democrats, if you look the other night, I made a speech, and I introduced two young ladies who were killed, killed viciously.
Wow. Introduced two young ladies who were killed. Brought the corpses to the joint address.
Violently killed.
Yeah.
Young, unbelievable, both outstanding people. They were killed by illegal aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And the Democrats
Couldn't
wouldn't
even
get up
clap.
and applaud. The mothers were, inconsolable. They were crying, and everybody was crying. The Democrats sat there with stone faces. They didn't
And
clap.
signs.
They didn't stand.
They didn't
do
even
anything.
clap.
We had a young man with very serious cancer. His dream is to be with the police department someday.
Young man had cancer. Well, he didn't have cancer anymore, right? But didn't they get rid of it? I guess had cancer. It kind of works here, I guess. But
And he was introduced. They didn't even clap. They were disgusting,
horrible.
frankly. They were disgusting.
Disgusting.
There's something wrong with them. They're deranged. They're deranged, like Jack Smith. They're deranged people.
What the fuck? Holy web, Batman. Like Jack Smith. True. Absolutely true, Mr. President.
And I never saw anything like it. I'm standing up and I introduced the mother and the parents of these two young girls that were just recently essentially killed, violently killed. And the Democrats are like this. It's so sad. And I saw this morning where one of them is pretty well known, one is fighting like crazy over men being able to play in women's sports. I said, I thought that was tried. I thought that was about I think it's a 95% issue. But in a way, I want them to keep doing it because I don't think they can win a race. I tell the Republicans, I said, don't bring that subject up because there's no election right now. But about a week before the election, bring it up because you can't lose. And everything's transgender this, transgender that.
Oh, yeah, Transparency is about that, by the way.
They have bad politics, but one thing, they stick together. You know, I wish, and the Republicans stick together mostly, but we have a couple that are grandstanders. You know, you always have grandstanders in life. But the Democrats, they have grandstanders, but when it comes to a vote, they do stick together, right?
Oh my God.
It seems like they'll stick together on the shutdown. Will that hurt Democrats going into midterms?
Well, if they do a shutdown, and ultimately that might lead to very, very high taxes, because we're talking about a shutdown, we're talking about getting to work immediately on the greatest tax bill ever passed. That was the one we did. It was the renewal. And
Thank God. Thank you. Yes, Schumer. Keep that government open so we can extend the tax cuts even more. Yes.
in addition to it, and we're going to cut people's taxes. And if we don't open, the Democrats are stopping all of these good things that we're providing. We're providing the greatest package of benefits that this country's ever provided. The biggest part of that's going to be tax cuts for the middle class and for businesses, small businesses.
Cut my taxes.
People that hire people in jobs. And if it's shut down, it's only going to be, if there's a shutdown, it's only because of the Democrats. And they would really be taking away a lot from our country and from the people of our country.
Mr. President, on tariffs, you made clear you're not backing down from this, but many American small business owners say they are concerned that these tariffs are going to hurt them. What's your message to them?
They're going to be so much richer than they are right now. And we have many. Yesterday, General Motors was in. They want to invest $60 billion.
Let's go through all the numbers. Our greatest
people
hits.
From Facebook were in yesterday. They're going to invest $60 billion by the end of the year. Other people are talking about numbers. Apple, as you know, a few days ago announced $500 billion investment. They're going to build their plants in the United States, which, as you know, almost all of their plants are in China. Now they're building in the United States. Look, the reason is two things. Number one.
Chuck Schumer, I guess the Senate Democratic leader, your senator, said at this meeting that he is going to vote for cloture. He is going to vote to allow there to be a simple majority vote. You think that's wrong?
I believe that's a tremendous mistake. Yes.
Why?
I think, well, first and foremost, the American people, if anyone has held a town hall or has seen what has been happening in town halls, American people, whether they are Republicans, Independents, Democrats, are up in arms about Elon Musk and the actual gutting of federal agencies across the board. This continuing resolution codifies much of this chaos that Elon Musk is wreaking havoc on the federal government. It codifies many of those changes. It sacrifices and completely eliminates congressional authority in order to review these impulsive Trump tariffs that he's switching on and off. And on top of that, for folks who are concerned about effectiveness in government, this Republican extreme spending bill removes all of the guardrails and all of the accountability measures to ensure that money is being spent in the way that Congress has directed for it to be spent. This turns the federal government into a slush fund for Donald Trump and Elon Musk. It sacrifices congressional authority, and it is deeply partisan. And so to me...
What an unbelievably all-encompassing and balanced answer, right? Do we support the continuing resolution?
That he's switching on and off.
Well, the first thing she does is she references two real events right now going on. One is Republicans being unable to host town halls because their constituents are so fucking upset about them that they're just like, okay, no more of this. Okay, you guys are making too much noise. And then she references the fact that right now popularity of Elon Musk is down. Okay, so Republicans aren't listening to you, and you guys hate Elon Musk. What is the continuing resolution going to do? It's going to make permanent a lot of the things that Elon Musk did to the government that are polling so unpopularly right now. That's a good reason in terms of optics and in terms of like popular appeal to oppose supporting the continuing resolution, right? She points to actual legislative things, this ability to turn on and off the tariffs. The tariffs are, if they're not already playing into the American mind, which they probably are because these are huge news stories, I imagine, when you see the markets go down, right? They're definitely going to as prices on things begin to increase, or if you're in an industry that's affected, you've already seen it, right?
or that money is being spent in the way that Congress has directed for it to be spent.
And then the last part is just a legal appeal of how the government should work. Nobody gives a fuck about this, but I like it. I appreciate it. I think it's good. I think there's a very good answer and a very good reason to oppose the continuing resolution.
This turns the federal government into a slush fund for Donald Trump and Elon Musk. It sacrifices congressional authority, and it is deeply partisan. And so to me, it is almost unthinkable.
Yep. Yeah. Why the fuck would you vote for this?
Would vote to hand the few pieces of leverage that we have away for free when we've.
And here, listen, I don't know anything about, okay, so this actually might be an IRI question, okay? If you guys brigade his stream, you can ask him, okay? I'm going to say this, and I actually think it's a bad idea. I don't know if AOC could even do this. I don't know if her career would survive this. I feel like AOC should start fighting. I think AOC should go back to fighting Democrats for leadership positions or like heart of the party, because I think there needs to be, because she's taking opposition to Schumer and I guess essentially the rest of Democratic leadership here. I feel like she has a better handle and future than these guys who are, no offense, 97 years old. I think she should. I don't even know what it would look like inside Congress. Like, she already got fucked out of that chair by fucking Pelosi. Well, I guess it's understandably still ass pain from a long time ago, but hey, that's politics, right? I think AOC should start to try to like shore up like power in Congress. I think with other Democrats. I don't know if she could even do that, or if that would be like career suicide or something. But I don't know. I would like to see it.
We've been sent here to protect Social Security, protect Medicaid, and protect Medicare.
You have.
What is there a full? I'm curious. Is there a full interview for this? Ugh, this Akin guy, he links a lot. He's a big clipper, but I feel like he never links the original shit. What benefit would a government shutdown have? One, hopefully we could roll back some of the kind of disgusting things that are in the continuing resolution. Two, I think that historically government shutdowns tend to be blamed on the party that's in power, so it would hurt some of the Republican ability. And then three, it would fracture, I think, the Republicans a bit, as they would be forced to contend with the fact that they don't have this infinite authority to govern in whatever way they want without even consulting Democrats on, I guess, what some of these bills should look like.
Kill that light!
None of these people should be able to show their faces anywhere without being booed or heckled. Abso-fucking-lutely. You want to argue that you have a mandate from the people and you're serving the people and you want to play that dictator totalitarian shit, then you should suffer the wrath of being an unpopular, fucking authoritarian, autocratic piece of shit. They should boo the fuck out of this guy wherever he shows up. Where is this at? The Kennedy Center, apparently. IRI is answering the question right now.
I understand AOC's position, and Democrats are united in the House to vote against this, but I understand where Chuck Schumer's coming from too, so I don't know. But I think AOC should use every opportunity she can to get some attention and let people channel energy her way. I don't know. After this, we're going to look at what the response to Chuck Schumer's comments are. But we're almost done with this because we already watched most of it. I just want to see what we missed before.
What's next? Won the election.
Chuck Schumer has an argument. I just super disagree with it.
November 5th. And the other thing is tariffs. I think probably in that order. But Tim Cook came in and he announced 500 Think of it, 500 billion, not million. 500 million's a lot when you think about it, right? But, well, I would have been happy with 500 million, but it's $500 billion investment by Apple in the United States. And that's because of the election result, and it's because of the tariffs and the tax incentives too, you know, tariffs and tax incentives. And I've never seen anything like it. We have plants going up now in Indiana. We have plants going up in Michigan. A lot of plants going to be planned from. I'm trying to steer them to Michigan because Michigan got so badly beaten by, you know, what happened with Europe. You know, if you look at Europe, take a look at the EU. We're not allowed to sell cars there. It's prohibitive because of their policies, and also their non-monetary tariffs. That's they put obstacles in your way that you can do nothing about. But if you take a look at what happens, so we sell no cars to Europe. I mean, virtually no cars, and they sell millions of cars to us. They don't take our agriculture, we take their agriculture. It's like a one-way street with them. The European Union is very, very nasty. They sue our companies. Apple was forced to pay $16 billion on a case that,
was frankly
very much like my cases that I won.
Bogus, yeah.
They shouldn't have been even cases, but we felt they had no case, and they ended up having an extremely favorable judge and decision. But they're suing Google, they're suing Facebook, they're suing all of these
wonderful companies that all paid me out from defamation lawsuits. All these wonderful companies are giving me so much money.
Making billions of dollars out of American companies, many more than the ones I just mentioned. And I guess they're using it to run Europe or something. I don't know what they're using it for, but they treat us very badly. China obviously treats us very badly. Almost everybody does, and I blame past presidents, to be honest.
Like you?
Because when I was president, we received so far about $700 billion from China over the years on the tariffs that I put in. No other president got 10 cents from China, and that was only beginning.
You received that money. That's money that Americans essentially have paid, right? You understand that, right? But okay.
I would have been able to finish the process, but we had to fight the COVID thing, and we did really well with it, but we had to fight. And then we had actually, as you remember, Mark, we actually handed over the stock market. It was higher than just previous to COVID coming in, which was sort of a miracle, frankly. We did a good job. But the tariffs are very important. And I think the psychology, there's great spirit. When Mark came in, he said, congratulations, there's a whole new spirit, there's a whole new light over this country, and really over the world. Because you have somebody that, a whole group of people really, because I talk about this whole group, that we know what we're doing, and a lot of great things are happening. But I've never seen investment like this. Trillions of dollars is being invested in the United
just say
States
100
now.
quadrillions.
Our country could have failed. Another 4 years of this, what happened in the last 4 years,
would have been over.
It would have been a crime-ridden mess. And I don't know if you noticed, little thing they call it, but it's not a little thing. If
it's called an ocean.
If you like eggs and you don't have a lot of money, eggs have gone down 25% in the last
Bet you didn't notice that, did you?
We inherited that problem, eggs. Groceries have gone down a little bit. Energy's gone down. Do you want to speak to that for a second, Governor? Would you just say a couple of words, you and Chris, about energy, what's happened?
Well, happy to, but I think that Chris and I just came from CERAWeek, which is the largest conference in the world, so global leaders, people from the EU, officials from all the energy producing countries, all there, and all the global nationals, all the US. The spirit of that group is through the roof, because now they realize that in the United States, President Trump's policies are pro developing more energy, as opposed to we're trying to shut down energy, and that pro growth, pro business, pro energy approach is giving people the optimism. So then the markets are reacting to that, and energy prices on the futures market are going to go down, because people know we're not going to be killing off the energy we need for prosperity in all of our countries, but also for peace.
Now, I haven't checked any of that, so I can't speak to it directly, but I will say that energy prices going down isn't always a positive. Sometimes energy prices going down, I believe, because I think this happened with China, energy prices going down can be a projection of slowed growth or economic contraction. They're not going to be consuming as much energy, so the overall demand for energy decreases as a result of that, and then prices fall until supply catches up with where suppliers want the price to be anyway. But I don't know if that's the case right now with projected future energy. That might be because of Trump deregulation or something, but just in general, it's not always a good thing.
because people have used energy to fuel these wars that President Trump is working so hard to end. And we know that high energy prices were driving the inflation that he talked about. So it accomplishes two goals for us, which is prosperity for the world, peace for the world, when we have smart energy policies. And President Trump has brought common sense back to how we think about energy.
And it's brought down now $65 a barrel, I saw this morning. That's phenomenal news. And that's what brought it up. The energy they took our beautiful energy policies and they just messed them up. And then they went immediately back to them but by that time they lost it. They lost that Bronco, as the expression goes. Chris, do you have something to say?
Yeah, Chris, what do you got?
I think Doug said it well, but you just can't overstate how important the return of common sense, the return of knowledge about energy, and pro-American consumers, pro-investment in our country. I think globally that was welcomed. It means capital flows, it means more sobriety and lower energy prices, more economic opportunity for Americans. So yeah, it was elated atmosphere at a global energy conference.
Thank God.
Well, we're working on one project. It should be very easy. It's a pipeline going through a small section of New York. New York's held it up for years, actually, for years.
Fucking
they wanted
losers.
to do it for years and years. And it will reduce the most expensive energy almost in the world is in New England.
Unbelievable.
Because they have no way of getting it there because it's been
they're
held
idiots.
up by New York.
Yep.
And the whole of New England and Connecticut and New York, the energy prices are through the roof. And this one pipeline will save for...
Wait, what states are in New England again? I don't... Okay, Connecticut is in New England. But okay, that's okay. It just means the rest of it.
Per family, $2,500 just on heating and another $2,500 on everything else. So the energy by just a simple pipeline going through an area that wants it, an area that's not a rich area. It's actually a very poor area. We create jobs and everything else. And it's going to be way underground. Nobody's going to see it. Once they fill it up, nobody's going to see it. Nobody's going to know it's there. And families in New York and Connecticut and New England are going to save $5,000 a family. Think of that.
$5,000.
Right now they have the highest energy prices maybe in the world. They say New England is a disaster. So
it's a disaster.
We're working on that. In fact, the governor's coming in, Governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, who's a very nice woman. She's coming in tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock to meet me on that and other things. Not only that, but other things. So I hope we don't have to use the extraordinary powers of the federal government to get it done. But if we have to, we will. But I don't think we'll have to. I can tell you Connecticut wants it and all of New England wants it. And who wouldn't want it? And it's also jobs on top of everything else. So that's going to be very exciting. So we're meeting with the governor tomorrow morning.
Mr. President, somebody bold question. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Greenland. What is your vision
going on with them?
for the potential annexation of Greenland and getting them potentially to...
Well, I think it'll happen, and I'm just thinking, I didn't give it much thought before, but I'm sitting with a man that could be very instrumental. You know, Mark, we need that for international security, not just security, international. We have a lot of our favorite players, cruising around the coast, and we have to be careful. And we'll be talking to you. It's a very appropriate, really a very appropriate question.
It's an issue in the
very
high
much.
north, so the Arctic. So what you did, so when it comes to Greenland, yes or not joining the US, I would leave that outside for me, this discussion, because I don't want to drag NATO in that. But when it comes to the high north and the Arctic...
He's so good. And then now just pet Trump a little bit, make him happy. Oh my God, this guy is the Trump whisperer.
You are totally right. The Chinese are now using these routes. We know that the Russians are rearming. We know we have a lack of icebreakers. So the fact that the outside Russia, there are 7 Arctic countries working together on this.
This is the actual weave.
It's very important to make sure that that region, that part of the world stays safe. And we know things are changing there, and we have to be there.
Well, they just had an election there the other day. Do you see a referendum, a plebiscite, where the people of Greenland would be in a position to decide if they want to become part of the United States?
Yeah, it was a good election for us, as you know. It was not a referendum. It wouldn't be called that. It was an individual election. But the person that did the
Trump
best
fact-checking
is a
on
very good
civics.
person, as far as we're concerned. And so we'll be talking about it, and it's very important. Mark mentioned the word icebreaker. So we've ordered, we're in the process of ordering 48 icebreakers.
Oh my God.
And Canada wants to know if they could use them. I said, well, you know, you got to pay for them. Think of it, Canada. We pay for their military. You know, Canada pays very little for their military because they think we're going to protect them.
Would we
but
not?
Even with the icebreakers. So we're going to order
Hello?
48. And Canada wants to be part of the deal. I say, you got to get your own icebreakers. Then if you're a state, you can be part of the deal. But if you're a separate country, you got to get your own icebreakers. Russia, as you know, has about 40 of them. And we have one big icebreaker. But that whole area is becoming very important. And for a lot of reasons, the routes are, you know, very direct to Asia, to Russia, and you have ships all over the place. And we have to have protection. So we're going to have to make a deal on that.
By the way, that we don't have icebreakers. He's right. We don't have icebreakers because we're fucking awesome. Because we don't need them. Because we have access to any warm water port in the fucking world that we want to park at. We don't have to go through fucking barren fields of massive glacial fucking water because nobody wants us to park our fucking ships there. Well, I don't know how true that's going to be anymore after Trump and people not liking us anymore. But yeah, having to go through like cold water ports and having to go through shit that freezes in the winter fucking sucks. Nobody wants to have to do that. That sucks.
And Denmark is not able to do that. You know, Denmark's very far away and really has nothing to do. What happens? A boat landed there 200 years ago or something, and they say they have rights to it. I don't know if that's true. I don't think it is, actually.
What?
But we've been dealing with Denmark. We've been dealing
Who's
with
been
Greenland,
talking to this
and we
guy
have to
about
do it.
history and borders?
We really
What the
need it
fuck?
For national security. I think that's why NATO might have to get involved in a way, because we really need Greenland for national security. It's very important. You know, we have a couple of bases on Greenland already, and we have quite a few soldiers, and maybe you'll see more and more soldiers go there. I don't know. What do you think about that, Pete? So, don't answer that, Pete. Don't answer that question. But we have bases, and we have quite a few soldiers on Greenland.
Some questions your commitment to NATO. Will anything
Just casually joking about invading allies.
Your commitment to NATO. Will anything change? Same amount of money?
Well, I think they made a great step by putting Mark in charge. I think, to me, that's a great step because he and I have seen eye to eye on everything for a long time. We've been doing this a long time now.
9 years now.
And so that's a great step. You have to keep NATO strong. You have to keep it relevant. But the biggest thing we have to worry about right now is what's going on right now. I think the rest is going to take care of itself. I don't see...
There should be like a book of Trump quotes. The biggest thing we have to worry about right now is what's going on right now. Okay.
About right now is what's going on relevant.
True.
But the biggest thing we have to worry about right now is what's going on right now. I think the rest is going to take care of itself. I don't see this happening. This was a fluke. This was something that if we had a competent president, it would not have happened. The man was grossly incompetent.
Oh, more Biden talk. Yes.
Take a look at he signs by AutoPen.
Oh, the new talking
Who's signing
point.
all this stuff by AutoPen?
Yeah, when you could sell it. Why would you do this when you could auction it all off?
By AutoPen? You know, these are major documents you're signing. You're proud to sign them. You have your signature on something. In 300 years, they say, oh, look, can you imagine? Everything was signed by AutoPen, almost everything. Nobody's ever heard of such a thing. So, should have never happened.
Tomorrow with the Justice Department about law and order. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're going
to win. Just say we're going to win.
Department. We have a great Justice Department.
That's good. We do. Say we're going to win.
Bondi is so fantastic, and Todd Blanche and Emil. You got to know him a little bit. He was acting for a little while. And some other people are incredible in the Justice Department, and I consider the FBI to be a part of it in a sense, and Cash is going to be fantastic.
If you think about it, in a sense, the FBI and the Justice Department I consider them to be almost one and the same. Yes, that is indeed true. The FBI is indeed within the Department of Justice, yeah.
Fantastic, and all the people. Dan Bongino, I love that. I love that. I think Dan is great.
I don't think anybody asked you if you thought everybody that you had working for you in the Justice Department was great. I think they were asking about the upcoming cases. But what do you even ask Trump? Like, he's not going to give you a coherent answer on anything. It's not even because it's propaganda. He just doesn't know the answer, right? Like, he has no fucking idea about any of the cases right now. He doesn't know anything about any of this shit, but...
We have unbelievable people. And all I'm going to do is set out my vision. It's going to be their vision, really, but it's my ideas, and basically we don't want to have crime in the streets. We don't want to have people pushed
no
into
crime.
subways and killed, and
Okay.
then the person that did the pushing ends up in a 15-year trial and gets off scot-free. We want to have
Unbelievable,
justice, and we
Mr.
want to
President.
have safety in our cities as well as our communities. And we'll be talking about immigration. We'll be talking about a lot of things, the complete gamut. So I look forward to that. That'll be tomorrow at the Justice Department.
Mr. President, you're a man of peace. You said it several times and you made it very clear. A man of peace dealing with belligerent people. And I'm thinking, we saw how you handled Zelensky in this very own room. What is your
How do you handle Putin?
leverage on Putin? I'm thinking sanctions. What if he refuses to?
Well, I do have.
I love that she like asks the question, but like gives him an answer. Like as you ask the question, like maybe sanctions, right? Like because she knows he probably doesn't have an answer otherwise. That's funny.
On Putin. I'm thinking sanctions. What if he refuses to?
Well, I do have leverage, but I don't want to talk about leverage now, because right now we're talking to him, and based on the statements he made today, they were pretty positive, I think. So I don't want to talk about that. I hope Russia's going to make the deal too. And I think once that deal happens, you're never going to be in a process. I don't think they're going back to shooting again. I really believe if we had a
world peace.
if we get a peace treaty, a ceasefire treaty, I think that leads to peace.
Wait, a
That's gonna
ceasefire
really
treaty
lead
or a
to peace.
peace treaty?
I don't
or?
think anyone wants to go back. They've been doing this for a long time,
Okay.
and it's vicious and violent. And I think if President Putin agrees and does a ceasefire, I think we're gonna be in very good shape to get it done. We want to get it over with. That's why it was very important what I instructed everybody, including Steve, what we're looking for, to discuss concepts of land, concepts of power plants, because it's complicated. You know, you have you're sort of creating the edge of a country. The sad part is that country, if this didn't happen, and it wouldn't have happened, I don't know if they would have to give anything back. I guess Crimea, you know, I said it last time, Crimea was given by Obama.
Oh, Biden. Okay.
Biden gave him the whole thing, and Bush gave him Georgia. And Trump didn't give him anything. I gave him, you know what I gave him? I gave him javelins. I gave them javelins. And the javelins were very effective, as you know. I gave them nothing.
And then the Democrats gave us Russiagate.
And then also, if you take a look, I was the one that stopped the pipeline going into Europe. It was totally stopped. Nord Stream 2. Nobody ever heard of Nord Stream 2.
How funny would it be if Trump accidentally leaked? He's like, yeah, in 2020, I actually gave the U.S. military authorization to blow that pipeline up. I bet you guys didn't know that one, did you?
Before I came along. But I got along very well with President Putin. I got along with most of them. I get along great with President Xi. I got along great with Kim Jong-un. I got along great with all of them. And we had no wars. We had no problems. We wiped out ISIS in record time. General Raisin came, and he wiped them out. And he was going to be our new chief, right? He's going to be
right? Is he?
the head
Oh,
of
okay, yeah.
Joint
He
Chiefs
said, yeah, he is,
of
right?
Staff.
Okay.
And he's a highly respected man. He's going to be great. Pete's going to be fantastic. I have no doubt about it. We have a great team, really great team. Yeah, please. Go ahead, please.
Mr. President, some of our allies have said that they're worried that they could be the next to be attacked by Russia. You've spoken directly with the Russian president.
Losers.
Do you think those fears are justified?
No, I don't. I think when this gets done,
Who are
it's
you?
done.
Who asked this
They're
question?
going to all want to go home and rest. I don't see it happening. Nope, I don't see that happening. And we'll make sure it doesn't happen. Not going to happen, but we'll make sure it doesn't happen. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Leaders from Russia and Iran are heading to Beijing tomorrow to discuss nuclear programs. What do you hope to get out of that?
Well, maybe they're going to talk about non-nuclear programs. Maybe they're going to be talking about the de-escalation of nuclear weapons, because, you know, I was talking about that with President Putin very strongly. And we could have done something had that election not been rigged. We would have had something. I think I would have made a deal with
Putin to get rid of all the nukes.
De-escalation.
True.
Denuclearization.
Oh my God. Full denuclearization. We were right there.
Because the power of nuclear weapons is so great.
You know they can
so
blow up
devastating.
big places, right? I don't think anybody even knows how great they
By
are.
far the most. but China will catch us within 5 years. China doesn't have, but they're in the process of building, and they build. And within 4 or 5 years, they'll probably have the same.
And by the way, this is a Republican tradition. Ronald Reagan, when he negotiated with Gorbachev in the 1980s about bringing down the number of nuclear weapons, it's what you have been doing your first term, and it is important.
It would be a great achievement.
Trump has no idea, or even he doesn't give a fuck about what he just said.
We have so many weapons, and the power is so great. And
oh my God.
Number one, you don't need them to that extent. And then we'd have to get others, because as you know, in a smaller way, Kim Jong-un has a lot of nuclear weapons, by the way. A lot.
Do you guys know that?
And others do also. You have India, you have Pakistan.
I feel like somebody just taught him this, and he's like so excited to share his knowledge with the world. Dude, there's got to be like the assholes clenching at the fucking NSA and shit when it's like, oh God, Trump is fucking talking, or they say Trump is talking about our fucking national fucking secrets again. Oh God, and they're like, he's gonna like let some crazy shit slide or slip that nobody has any idea like what's coming out of his lips. Oh my God.
You have others that have them, and we get them involved. But we started off with Russia and us. We have by far the most. And we were going to denuclearize.
He was like, we have nukes in space. I don't think you guys even realize that.
And I spoke to China. I spoke to President Xi about it. And he really liked the idea. You know, he'd like not to spend trillions of dollars building weapons that hopefully he's never going to have to use. And because they are very expensive also. So that would have been great. Okay, one or two more.
Yeah, one or two more, guys. I'm getting tired.
Thank you. We're looking at an impending government shutdown Friday midnight.
Yeah.
Democrats for 30 years straight have said if there's a shutdown, bad things happen.
And now the Dems
Do you
are.
anticipate direct negotiations yourself with conference leader of the Democrats, Chuck Schumer?
If they need me, I'm there 100%. It's right now it's 2 or 3 people. If it shuts down, it's not the Republicans' fault. You know, we passed a bill where we had an incredible Republican vote. We only had one negative vote, a grandstander. You know, one grandstander. There's always a grandstander.
Was that Rand Paul or somebody else? I don't know.
But it was amazing. People were amazed that the Republicans were able to vote in unison like that, so strongly.
Oh no. That was we're talking the House.
If there's a shutdown,
yeah, it wasn't.
even the
Rand Paul was
Democrats admit it'll be their fault. And I'm hearing a lot of Democrats are going to vote for it, and I hope they do. This is an extension. But ultimately, we want to vote for one big, beautiful bill where we put the taxes in, we put everything in. We're going to have big tax cuts. We're going to have tremendous incentives for
Rand Paul is a
companies
senator.
coming into our country and employing lots of people. It'll be, I called it,
Rand Paul is a senator. Okay.
in a rare moment, one big, beautiful bill. That's what I like, and it seems to be that's where
And
they're
the House was
heading.
Massey, gotcha.
And
Thomas Massey.
we'll have to take care of something to do with Los Angeles. A place called Los Angeles almost burned to the ground. By the way,
Did you know that, by the way?
I
Fire?
broke into Los Angeles. Can you believe it? I had a break-in. I invaded Los Angeles, and we opened up the water, and the water is now flowing down. They have so much water they don't
even know what to do with
They were
it.
sending it out to the Pacific for environmental reasons. Okay, can you believe it? And in the meantime, they lost 25,000 houses. They lost, and nobody's ever seen anything like it. But we have the water. I'd love to show you a picture. You've seen the picture. The water's
You seen the
flowing
pictures
through
of it?
the half pipes. You know, we have the big half pipes that go down. 25 years ago, they used to have plenty of water, but they turned it off for environmental reasons. Well, I turned it on for environmental reasons and also fire reasons. But and I've been asking them to do that during my first term. I said, do it. I didn't think anything could happen like this, but they didn't have enough water. Now the farmers are going to have water for their land, and the water is in there. But I actually had to break in. We broke in to do it because we had people that were afraid to give water. They were, in particular, they were trying to protect a certain little fish. And I say, how do you protect the fish if you don't have water? They didn't have any water, so they're protecting a fish. And that didn't work out too well, by the way.
Absolutely true.
So they have a lot of water going down throughout California, all coming out from the Pacific Northwest, even some from Canada. Thank you, Canada, very much. I appreciate it. Next thing you know, they'll want to turn the water off. They want to charge us for the water. But it comes up from the Pacific Northwest, and it's a beautiful thing to see. I mean, it is brimming with water. Now, if they would have had that done, you wouldn't have had the damage, because the fire would have been put out. The fire hydrants would have been loaded. The sprinklers in people's living rooms and bedrooms would have been loaded up. They had no water.
Yeah.
The government makes them put sprinklers, and they had no water in the sprinklers because they had no water. So the water is flowing, and we're going to have to give a lot of money to Los Angeles to help them. And the Democrats
So
are
what
going to
is
want to
this
do that.
answer?
So that's
Holy
the one thing
shit.
different. And frankly, I think that makes it a lot easier. But one of the big thing is we have the big, beautiful bill. We got to get that done.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're talking
And that will
about.
put our country in a position like it's never been. It's a reduction of taxes. It's tremendous incentives for companies to come from all over the world into our country. It's great environmentally, but it's not this environmental scam that we went through, that we all went through. It provides for everything. It's a big, beautiful bill, and I hope we can get it approved, and that'll be next. But in the meantime, we have the continuing resolution, and the Republicans have approved it, and now the Democrats have to approve it, and I hope they will. And I think a lot of them, I can tell you, they want to. I've spoken to some of them. They really want to. Their leadership may not
Holy
want them
Christ.
to. And if it closes, it's purely on the Democrats. One more?
Jesus.
We've seen tension increasing in the peninsula. You've talked about Kim Jong-un. Do you have any plans of re-establishing the relationship you had during the first mandate?
Well, I would.
We'll
I
get
had
there.
a great relationship with Kim Jong-un.
Oh, yeah.
North Korea. If I wasn't elected, if Hillary got in, you would have had a nuclear war with North Korea. He expected it. He expected it. And they said, oh, thousands of people. No, millions of people would have been killed. But I got in. We went to Singapore, we met. We went to Vietnam, we met. We got along really good. We had a very good relationship, and we still do. We still do. You don't have that threat that you had. I mean, look, when I was running the first time, it looked like there was going to be a war with North Korea. You know that better than me.
Tensions were high.
Yeah. And
everybody
it started off.
was startled that you invited him for talks,
Right.
but you did.
It started off very rough, and he wouldn't meet with Obama, wouldn't take his calls.
Yeah,
I
right.
said, how many times did you call? They called a lot. He wouldn't take their call. He told me I wouldn't take his call. But with me, it did start off rough, if you remember. Very rough.
Oh, is it because Obama didn't want to meet him? Yeah, okay, never mind. That makes sense. I was going to say.
Rough, actually, very nasty.
There was a Singapore.
And yeah, but then, no, before that, then it stopped. The rhetoric was extremely tough. It was.
You had
it
your
was a little
speech in
bit
the UN, I remember.
Yeah, that's right. It was a little bit dangerous. And then we met. They asked for a meeting, and then we met. And the meeting caused the Olympics, which was in South Korea, to become a tremendous success. Nobody was buying tickets for the Olympics because they didn't want to be nuked. And I met, and not only did the Olympics become successful,
They didn't even
North
nuke them that
Korea
much.
participated in the Olympics.
His sister visited.
It was an amazing thing. And that was something that was an achievement of the Trump administration, great achievement. And so I have a great relationship with Kim Jong-un, and we'll see what happens. But certainly he's a nuclear power.
Okay, certainly.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
The official level, that you spend more time with the minister than your predecessor. And it's really no.
Well, I would say just
Watch movies, have fun, be careful, don't die, okay? Ribriano, cappuccino, pappuccino, hoppuccino, moppuccino, depuccino, cappuccino, appuccino, my tutors. I will catch you guys on the night of the 18th Reno, okay? Be careful.